Hello everyone, Other Klaus here, and today guys I'm going to review a new Hero Factory set released in the first wave of 2012 called the Breakout Wave. And today, to be more precise, I'm going to review one of the 5 villains, and it's going to be Jawblade. So here is his bag, because now they do not come in canisters or boxes, but in bags, which can be opened and closed. So you can see you have some nice little zip design right there with the Jawblades, excuse me, face right here. Lego Hero Factory logo, Jawblade of course in front of the picture, Furno on the back, the two of them swimming in some water obviously, and then the fact that you're going to have 200 game points for the new Hero Factory game on the official website. So on the back you have the fact that this is a connector bullion type of construction set. Then you will have a Jawblade picture, a 1:1 picture scale of his face, well, of his helmet if you want, in a front view, and also the fact that if you move some fins on the back you will be able to move the jaw. Other ads for the Hero Factory game, and that said, I think that's all for the bag, which can be opened like that, and also closed, because it's kind of like a zip bag, so it's really convenient and useful. Then you have the instruction booklet, which looks like that. Once again, how to use the codes, because yes, to obtain your game points, you have to enter the code which is included on the back of the hero core, and you have to know that even if the villain do not have the hero core on their body, they still have it in their box. So for example, you just have to, you have this thing in each Hero Factory set from this web, even the villains, excuse me guys. So now you have the steps, and you build this guy in, I guess, like 14, 15, 16 steps right there. Parts list, the combiner model between him and Furno, which looks like that. Of course, you have to go on this website address to build the model, because the instructions are not included into this booklet. Another picture with the two enemies, and the win page. Now it's time to talk about the set, and first, before I show you the frame, I'm going to talk about the new parts or recolors in this set. So the first one, well, in fact the only new part in this set is the head of Jawblade, which looks like that. So you can see it's pretty well detailed, looking nice. You have an axle at, in the head to link it to a connector, and well, that's all for the head, nothing really to talk about. Looks okay. And then you have 3 required parts. The first one is the Furno's 1.0 blade, which looks like that. So they are recolored in red instead of trans orange. They look okay. Then you have a new armor part. So it's a 6 armor part, because well, there is white and 6 here, in trans orange. So this is the first time it was released here. And finally you have this part which comes in silver. So once again, it's unique to this set, at least for now. So new part. And now let's move on to the frame itself. So the frame is a white frame. This means we're going to have 2 intermediate ball joints on the side. So as you can see, for the head, we're going to link a trans orange connector, which will be useful to make the eyes. Also notice that we're going to link a T-shaped part right there, so technique beam, which will be useful to block the movement of the jaw. Then for the arms, it's quite simple. It is two little bones, as you can see right there, plus a black hand. So you have 2 black hands in this set. Then for the legs, we're going to link some type of fins instead. So connector, Wojo, I don't have the name for this part, but well, here you go. And then some spike here. We're also going to link some bones for the tail on the back of this connector, on this ball joint, excuse me. And it looks like that. Here we go. So now it's time to finish our set. So first, the jaw, which looks like that. So it's quite simple. You have two connectors, with on each of them you have a fin, and the 2 connectors are linked together thanks to this axle of 5. And between these connectors and through this axle, we're going to link this bionicle part, which will be useful to make the jaw. So we're going to link this thing right there. So excuse me, guys. Yeah. Now we're going to link the head. Here we go. And then we're going to link the end of the tail, which looks like that. So it's an axle of 4 plus a stop at the end, ball joints, 2 bionicle fins, and this tail part right here. I'm not going to link it, so excuse me, just going to check something to be sure I'm doing this the right way. There we go. And finally, we're going to link the different pieces of armor to cover the body. So first, the orange one, which will be linked this way. Then this part, like that. Then some parts on the back, which will be linked here. Excuse me, guys. And there. Then the armor here. And finally, we have to link the 2 swords, or the 2 blades if you prefer, on his hands. Excuse me. And so now the model is done, so let me just adjust my webcam so you can see clearly how this works. So you can make him west, if I'm correct, on his 2 fins and tail. I just have to succeed into doing that. Excuse me. I guess I'm not really I can't really pose him like that, so well, I'm going to use the blades, it will be easier, at least for me. Excuse me, I'm not at my own, so that's why it might seem a little chaotic to review this guy. So well, here's Jawblade. I'm going to do a little turn around first. Here we go. And then, excuse me guys, I'm going to talk about the articulations of this guy. So excuse me, it's a little long. I think I will improve my reviews with time. So here we go. So the articulations, well, it's quite simple. First, the arms, you can move the shoulders the way you want. There is no problems, no limitations. Then you have the elbows, which blocks at a little more than 90 degrees. Well, in fact, not just 90 degrees, but you can move it on the sides, for example. So it can be it can be useful. The arms also can be moved freely, so there is no problems. Then you have the head right there, which can be moved up and down and on the side if you want, even if it's not very useful, because of course the jaw on the back can be moved on the side, so it looks a little weird if you just want to move the upper part of the head on the sides. But this part right there is moved thanks to this fin, so you just have to press it and you can close or open the mouth pretty easily. So that's a nice little gimmick, but well, it's not that useful in terms of articulations. Then you have the fins on the back, which are mounted on simple ball joints, so they can be turned all the way you want. This ball joint right here can just be turned up, down, and a little on the side, as you can see, which is quite useful. This one can be turned on the side and a little up and down, and finally this one, once again, on the sides and up and down a little. And so, here we go. So that's all for the articulations, and before I'm going to do my sum up, here we go. I'm going to do a little comparison with his enemy, which is Furno. So here are the two of them. Together. Here we go. So now I'm going just to do a sum up about Jawblade. So first, the color scheme. The color scheme looks good in my opinion because it's really simple colors, so like silver, black, red, together, so it's pretty classic, but at least it works well because all the colors are well put, there is no big problems, and it really looks good in my opinion. Then you have the parts selection, which is a little poor in terms of new parts, because apart from the head, there is no new parts, there is still some new colors, but that's really all. Also, you have some type of fins, so 4 fins like that, which can be a little useful for those who don't have these parts, who don't have bionicle set which have these parts. But apart from that, apart from some little bones and armors here and there, it's not the most impressive parts selection you can find in a Hero Factory set. Then you have the building, the construction. So even if it is a shark, which is pretty original, the building itself is not that original, except for the jaw, which is quite cool to build. There is really nothing interesting. I mean, it's a simple hero frame, so obviously we're going to have the same ball jumps and the same connectors to use. So yeah, seriously, even if it's a little different because it has a different design, it's not that original. So well, a construction which is okay, once again, nothing incredible, it just works pretty well. Then we have the articulations, and once again, it's okay, nothing exceptional, but at least it works. You can turn the tails the way you want, in my opinion. You can also turn the fin and the arms in a nice range of movement, but it's not really incredible. Plus, the head, it's quite a problem because you can't turn this thing on the side because the jaw on the ear can be turned on the side. So it's a little, yeah, it's a little problem. And finally, you have the overall design, and well, it looks once again okay, but once again, it's not impressive at all. So the first maybe little problem is the fact that the jaw is linked way back right there, so it looks a little weird to have these two parts together to form a mouth because it doesn't really look that good in my opinion. Then you also have the obvious arms, which seems a little ridiculous for a shark. So I know it's Hero Factory, it's a term for kids, and well, I think it's cool that well they tried to make something original for the shark. Plus they had to have a set which can be uncurved by the heroes, but still it looks a little not that good in my opinion. They could have just put some fins and it would have looked better. But well, that may be just a matter of opinions after all. And then well, apart from that, the back looks good. The back looks good. I like the fins and stuff like that. I think you have a nice shape reminder with all the fins here and there. And I think that's quite all for this set, guys. So Jawblade for me is not really an interesting set. I mean, it's okay. It's original. It's a shark. It's okay in terms of design, but it's not that impressive. It doesn't really have that wow factor or anything like that. It's just an okay set with some problems, like for example the arms, the head, which is not really that good, and some friends of mine told me that he thinks that with a smaller frame, so the fin frame, it would have looked a little better, and also with real fins and for example a real jaw. So yeah, only some problems, and I think if you want to buy this set, it's really well your opinion, because personally I will not really advise you to buy this set first in this new wave. I think there is better villains out there, so and Jawblade is not really one of them. So once again, that's just my opinion, but I think there is really some problems which could have been a little improved, and so that means that Jawblade is an okay set. It's okay, it's not that bad, but it's not that good either. So well, that said, I think that's all for this review, guys. If you have any questions or comments, well, feel free to ask them. I will happily answer them as usual. And that said, well, thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and see you later for another video review. Bye bye.